Japan figures in a very large way in the concerns of both. I mean, it is the largest trading partner of China and the second largest trading partner of the United States. So it's very important from an economic perspective. From a military perspective, the United States has something on the order of 40,000 troops stationed there, and relies upon Japan to be that what was once called the unsinkable aircraft carrier in the Far East. So Japan matters a great deal to the United States. And matters a great deal to China, too. From a Chinese perspective, it's Japan that's standing in the way, along with the United States, standing in the way of breaking out into larger blue water territory, should that be their goal. Well, for most of the Cold War, it was what I've called a dual hedge, that is, hedging against American and European economic dominance and against Soviet military dominance and later Chinese. But that's given way to what might be more purely military hedge, which is a concern about China's rise and what that might mean in terms of compellence of Japan, coercion of Japan from a Japanese perspective. So the Japanese are moving from what I call a dual hedge, that is worried equally about economics and military, to a military hedge, the more realist, straight-up realist military hedge. It's doing both simultaneously. It's both hugging and hedging the United States. There are lots of ways to hug. There are lots of ways to hedge. And Japan has been moving pretty vigorously on the hedge side. I think more vigorously on the hedge side actually, and more notionally on the hug side. So there's still lots of talk about how important it is how important the alliance is, and it is important. But the Japanese are also changing the way they are situated in Northeast Asia, and the way they've situated themselves in terms of their legal system. So they have a new classification system for state secrets. They're now exporting weapons, including to Australia. It's the relaxation of a lot of the self-imposed limitations the Japanese have imposed over time. Like a way to think about that is slicing the salami. Very thin slices, a little bit. Nothing individually is so large, but by the end of the slicing, there's not much of a loaf left. I think it's an inevitable development. I think it should be welcomed. I think a Japan that punches at its weight in international affairs is something we've been seeking and longing for a very long time. The days of Americans treating the Japanese as a subaltern, subservient, dependent are long gone. The Japanese are finally figuring that out and working toward something which is a more equal relationship, and I think that's not a bad thing at all. In the short term, no, because we have the APEC meeting next month in Beijing, and everybody wants that to be a success. So both the Chinese and the Japanese are eager to sort of tamp down on the frictions. Once that's over, it depends on what kinds of arrangements have been made on the sidelines of the APEC meeting. It may just come back again with the vengeance. We don't know.